Oh, I'll tell you what, when the alarm went off at 4:30 I wasn't so keen to get up this morning, but come down to the shore and the sunrise has made it all worthwhile, so come and check this out. It's so bright, even the camera can't pick it up. Yeah, it's lovely out there this morning. So yeah, we're going to get kitted up and get out and head out for a bit of a dive. So just through the break in the weed here you can see a small wrasse. Sorry I didn't get much closer, but he was quite skittish. We did pop underneath this shelf here and found a lobster which we managed to eke out of this hole. This one was just a small male, so popped up to the surface to have a bit of a better look and then dropped him back down. There's some really good shelves here, lots of small little crabs tucked away behind all of these little indents in the rock. And just hiding under this ledge we found another nice lobster. It was an okay size this one, but yeah, still just under the legal limit, so just left him alone there. So I saw this small lobster here. I knew it wasn't good enough to keep, but I wanted to get it out of the hole to make a bit of footage of it anyway. If we keep watching though, I missed something which was rather frustrating. There was another bigger lobster hiding a little bit further up this shelf which I was on here. So if you just keep an eye in this hole, just coming up now, you'll see behind, you can spot the outline of those two bigger claws. Now I did try to get this one out. You'll see I went back up to the surface for a breathe up. I left my stick there to mark the hole, but unfortunately after a couple of attempts I just couldn't get that bigger one out, and then he moved off. Not much to say about this next one. I mucked it up. You can see a good sized lobster hiding behind this next piece of kelp, but as soon as I popped the stick in he shot back in that hole, and that cave was about 1 metre deep. I've seen seals about before when I've been diving and I've always made me quite nervous, but this guy was just quite happy to come up and see what we were up to, having a good play around. It was really good to get the confidence up being a bit closer to them in the water. Now I'm sure there was probably more things hiding underneath these little shelves, but you can see the amount of sugar kelp which was hanging over the edge here. It was just a bit hard to see. Now this is a good example of how to find a lobster, how to eke a lobster out of its hole, and then a really bad demonstration of how to catch it. This one just got away totally. So this one was a good drop. I think we saw about 3 lobsters on this breath hold. None of them big enough to keep though, so we just left them there. All the seaweed's looking in really good condition at this time of the year, but you can see how good these shelves are. Perfect grounds for looking for lobsters. All of these little crevices, there's little crabs and all sorts of crustaceans tucked in every one. Here's our third lobster. Good sized female, this one. Now despite dropping the camera there, I did actually get this one back up to the surface. But yeah, it's a soft female, so back down to the bottom she goes. Decided to follow this one down to see if we could just get a bit of extra footage. It's quite interesting to see how they behave when you're actually just down on the bottom with them. Jellyfish are in full force at this time of the year, and this one was just bobbing around on the surface. Now as I found this bit of claw on the bottom here, I thought the next lobster I find is probably going to have just shed its shell and will be soft. Actually, I found this one trying to work its way under the rock. It's got to be one of the easiest captures I'll ever make. And this one had barnacles on its shell, it was nice and hard in size, so it actually joined us for a barbecue that weekend. Now I think this is a small flounder here, but if it isn't, then please just correct me in the comments. Nice sized velvet crab sitting under that rock there. Again, as you can see, perfect grounds for crabs and lobsters here. Just so many little nooks and crannies for them to hide in. Now this one is just another perfect example of how not to catch lobsters. Technique, pretty good. Execution, pretty awful. I wasn't going to keep rummaging around in that hole because one, I didn't want to get my fingers pinched, but also I didn't want to risk damaging the claws of the lobster. Now unlike the last rather embarrassing attempt, this one I was pretty pleased with. Quite impressed by the speed of my reactions really. Unfortunately this one was small, so took it up to the surface and had a bit of a look at it, and then he went back down to the bottom as well. Now this one was probably one of the biggest lobsters I've seen for a while, but once I managed to extract this one, got my hand around the top of the carapace and realised it was a soft female, so we took it up to the surface to have a bit of a look. Tom wanted to take a few photos as well, and then we released it away. It's just really interesting studying some of these creatures. I just find the lobsters amazing, so as I say, Tom wanted a few photos and then we just popped it back down to the bottom of the floor. Now here's that lovely lady which we just let go a few minutes ago, and if we come around here, I found another one now. After having done a very good catch before, this is a perfect example of how not to catch another lobster. Just fluffed this one up completely. Off into the weeds it went, and never saw that one again. Here we've got another nice jellyfish just floating around. Then we had one final visit from our seal friend again, just rolling around on his belly, seeing what we were up to. So I hope you enjoyed this video, just a bit of a compilation of some lobster catches we've had so far this year. If you could give me a like, thumbs up and subscribe, that'd be great because it helps the channel grow, and we'll be back with another video soon.